Today we're talking about what actually helped me lose weight eating plant-based. No counting calories, cutting carbs, or doing anything extreme. I actually lost 50 pounds following these tips, and although at times I've gained a teensy tiny bit of that back, these tips and tricks have always helped me get up back on that horse moving forward. They help me reset and, more importantly, stick with it. So if you're feeling stuck or like you can't find anything that works, I guarantee you these are gonna be helpful. All right, so the first thing I did was I stopped using oil. I stopped consuming oil. I stopped cooking with oil. You will be surprised how many calories, how many extra calories you don't need that you are consuming just by using oil. 1 tablespoon of oil has about 130 calories, and most people will use 1 or 2 just to saute their veggies in. Like, they haven't even begun making the meal. They're just sauteing the veggies, and already you've added, well over 250 calories just by using the oil. Cutting out oil has made a huge difference. Now, I wasn't like deep frying my meals, but before I lost the 50 pounds and before I realized how calorically dense oil was, I was sauteing my veggies in it. I was putting it all over my salads for salad dressing, right? Like vinegar and oil. That's what a lot of people do. You know how many calories you are adding to your salad? So many. Once I stopped sauteing my veggies in oil and used veggie broth or water or even low sodium soy sauce instead, once I stopped taking the oil out of my salads, I was able to save on the calories, eat more food, feel full and satisfied, and start to lose weight easily. I'm telling you, try to cook all of your meals at home if you can. Now, I'm being realistic here. I know there are gonna be times where you go to a friend's house and they're probably cooking with oil, or you eat a healthy fast food or takeout. Those times are going to happen. Don't beat yourself up about it, but as much as you can, try to cook your meals at home and do not use oil. I'm telling you, you will see and feel all the difference. Number 2, I stopped forcing myself to eat veggies that I didn't like. For so long, I thought I had to eat cabbage and kale and cauliflower and what other one don't I like? Brussels sprouts all the time to be healthy, and that is just not true. Now, you should try to eat a wide variety of veggies that you can, but if making yourself do that is gonna stop you from eating veggies altogether, just eat the ones that you like, and then just slowly try new things as time goes on. Now what do? I eat the veggies that I enjoy. Things like bell peppers and broccoli and zucchini and squash. I eat way more veggies because I'm focusing on the ones that I enjoy. And again, I'm not saying don't try, to have a wide variety of veggies in your life. You absolutely should, but do it slow in a sustainable way. Kind of forcing yourself to do it all at once might make you just put your hands up and say, I'm out. I can't do this, or even not eat veggies at all, okay? And veggies are so good to be adding to your meals, especially for weight loss, because non-starchy veggies, things like cauliflower and bell peppers and broccoli and squash and carrots, these things are low on the calorie density scale, but they offer a lot of volume, a lot of water, a lot of fiber, so they're gonna keep you full, okay? And not give you a lot of calories. So you want to be adding these things to your meals to kind of crowd out the overall calories of the dish. But if you are forcing yourself to eat things like, for me, Brussels sprouts, mushrooms, ew, I'm not gonna eat the meal with those in there. I'm just gonna eat more pasta, okay? So make sure you're eating the veggies you like. This makes such a difference. Now, these next 2 go kind of hand in hand, but we're gonna start with keeping meals or knowing meals that you love and repeating them. I recommend at least 4 to 5 meals that are your go-to meals, meals that you just can't get enough of, that you can have on hand for when you're in a hurry, when you're in a rush, when you haven't planned anything for the day, and you can whip up and enjoy. It is so important to enjoy what you're eating. If you don't like it, you're not gonna do it. I'm telling you, I've been there, done that. You've gotta make sure you enjoy the meals. So at the least have 4 meals that you can go to. For me, I could tell you right now, it's red beans and rice, lentil marinara, a taco bowl, and a stir fry, or like some kind of pasta dish. When I say stir fry, I mean like a noodle stir fry or some kind of pasta. Those are 4 things I always love to have. I never get tired of them. You're less likely to order takeout or make some random snack when you have ingredients and meals that you love in your home that you know will keep you full and satisfied and on track. Like I said, goes kind of with number 3, but it is never running out of food. Know your staple foods, okay? So you have the meals that you like to enjoy. You need to know the foods that go with that. So for me, red beans, right? Lentils, veggies, and tacos, or at least like tortillas, pasta. Those are things I make sure I always have in stock and I never run out, because when you go to make one of these go-to meals and you're out of pasta, that's gonna suck, okay? You're gonna be like, oh my gosh, wait, I was really counting on that meal. Now what am I gonna do? Should I just do takeout? No, you shouldn't. You should never run out of your staple foods, okay? This is so important. And I get a lot of you guys don't have a gigantic pantry like some of us do, me included, here in Texas. You know, everything's big, even our pantries. So if you are using a cupboard, that's fine. If red beans is one of your staples, you know, make sure you always have 3 cans in there, okay? When you get down to 1 can, go get 2 more. I'm telling you, this one is huge. I would say 4 and 3 are probably 2 of the biggest ones I really want to emphasize here. So don't run out of your staple foods. Measuring your progress. How are you gonna know where you're headed if you don't know where you're at? You know what I mean? So many of us are afraid to measure our progress because we just don't want to know if we're messing up. You got to let go of that, okay? My favorite way to measure my progress is with the scale. Now, I know this can be a sore subject for some of us, and I think that's because you don't know how to weigh yourself properly, okay? For so long, I hated the scale. I don't hate much, it's such a strong word, but I used to hate the scale, and it's because I didn't know what I was seeing. I would get on the scale one day and I would be like at a great weight I loved, and then the next day I would be 2 pounds heavier. And I would think to myself, well, what is the point? I'm really just, this is not working out for me. I'm just gonna start something new on Monday, and it was like Wednesday, and until then I'm just gonna binge eat until Monday and just have fun. No, it's because I was weighing myself incorrectly. It's almost impossible. I'm gonna tell you this right now. It is almost impossible to gain 1 pound of actual fat overnight. You have to eat 3,500 calories more than what you've eaten to gain a pound of fat. What you're seeing when you get on the scale one day and you're liking that number, and then the next day you get on the scale and it's 1, 2, 3 pounds heavier, you're just seeing fluctuation, normal fluctuation, depending on how much salt you had the day before, how much water you drank, how much food you actually ate. All of these things go into play. If you did a lot of exercise, your body might be a little bit inflamed, retaining more water. That is going to be what makes the scale fluctuate on a day-to-day basis. And we're not measuring every single day and making sure it's going down every single day. Weight loss is not linear, okay? It might look like this, okay? And then go up a little bit. This is kind of fun. But what you want is just a general overall downward trend. And the way you weigh yourself correctly is you want to take weekly averages, okay? So what I do is I weigh myself on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. First thing when I wake up, no clothes on. After I go to the bathroom, I get on that scale, I write that number down. Monday. Tuesday, wake up, do the same thing. I might be a pound more, I might be 2 pounds less. I don't know. I write that number down. Wednesday, same thing. Then I take those 3 days, I add them up, I divide them by 3, and that number is my weight for the week. I don't get on the scale again till the following Monday, and I do the whole process over again. And what I see are my weekly numbers, my weekly averages are going down. Now, I might have a week where it's a pound up. That is okay. Because I am being consistent with my habits and the way I eat, I know I'm not gaining fat, okay? Again, it's really hard to gain 1 pound of fat. That's 3,500 calories, okay? So if you just keep that in your mind and you make sure you're weighing yourself correctly, I promise you, knowing where you are is gonna help you get to where you want to go. Next one, you gotta keep flavor on hand, okay? I'm not here to eat bland food, and neither are you. What helped keep me consistent was having flavor and spices on hand. If you are eating meals that don't taste good, what are you doing? You have to make sure they taste good. Now, you don't need fancy sauces, okay, that take 30 minutes to make your meals taste good. You really only need things like nutritional yeast, low sodium soy sauce, tahini, salsa, hummus, sriracha. These things you can put on your meals and amazing. You will be surprised how it will just turn up the flavor and make your meals more crave-worthy. My Healthy Vegan Mama low-fat cheese sauce, I will link it above and down below for you. So good. I make that on the weekends, store it in my refrigerator all week. You can even go buy oil-free, low-fat, vegan, plant-based sauces now at most stores. It's kind of incredible. I'm gonna show you these. Just going over it again for y'all. Low sodium soy sauce or tamari. Always have salsa, always have nutritional yeast. I always have tahini. Now I use this sparingly. Tahini is really dense in calories, okay? So if I have tahini, I'm drizzling like 2 teaspoons or at most 1 tablespoon on my meal. But this combined with this, oh my gosh. This combined with this, oh my gosh. Some hummus with a little sriracha, oh my gosh. You don't need much to make your meals taste good. Another like spice, I guess we're gonna call it, I don't know if it's technically a spice, but everything but the bagel seasoning, so amazing, really turns up the flavor of your meals. I can't stress enough how important it is to have staple things like these in your house, okay? Again, going back to 2 tips before, staple items, but having sauces, things that you can make sauces with really quick are so important to make your meals taste good, because if they're not tasting good, you're not gonna wanna eat them. Who would? All right, number 7, I stopped drinking my calories, okay? So basic, right, like things like Coca-Cola and sugary teas, any sugary drinks, Gatorades, even juice that you juice at home, even though that can be healthy, that has calories. So I do juice sometimes, I do make smoothies sometimes. Again, can be very healthy, but it can have a lot of calories. You might make yourself a smoothie and before you know it, you got like 800, 900 calories in there. That's 2 whole meals for me. So make sure you're not drinking your calories. Now, if you do want to make a fresh juice at home or a smoothie, I like to include that as part of my meal, right? So even though I don't count calories, I'm aware of the calories in there and I make it a part of my meal. When I do make a smoothie, I am aware of the calories I put in there, okay? So I'm not like loading in a ton of dates and a ton of fruit and a ton of plant milk and then a ton of bananas and then making like a smoothie bowl and topping it with granola. It's gonna get out of hand, okay? When I make a smoothie, I do things like a cup of fruit, 1 banana. I might do 1 cup of plant milk, and that's about it. You know, that's all I need. I might put a little bit of flaxseed in there or chia seeds. Actually, I love chia seeds in my smoothies. And that coupled with some broccoli, that's my meal, okay? So I don't go crazy with the smoothies or the juices. And if I do drink healthy drinks like that, I make them a part of my meal. But aside from that, like I'm drinking water. I'm drinking like low calorie electrolyte water every now and then, but I'm not drinking sodas. I'm not drinking Gatorades. I am really making sure most of my calories that I consume are coming from healthy, nourishing foods. There you go. All right, now number 8, I move my body a lot throughout the day. I try to get 10,000 steps in. I'm not saying you need 10,000 steps, but I will say being active throughout the day can also make a world of difference, not only with your health, but with weight loss. Now, I know it's been proven you don't need to exercise to lose weight. Really, what matters is most of what you put in your mouth. However, to be healthy, right? Both physically and mentally, you should be moving your body. And I gotta say, when I keep myself active throughout the day, I am thinking about my health. I am thinking about what I put in my mouth. I am excited to be and eat healthy. When I sit around and don't do much activity, that's when I start thinking about some snacks. I'm talking about like Oreos, things like that. When I'm not being active, I want to kind of sit in that space all around. But in the spirit of talking about things that help keep me on track to losing weight, being active is a big one for me. Now, I like to do 10,000 steps. And let me just say this too. Activity does help you burn calories, okay? Especially when you increase your NEAT. Your NEAT is the activity that you do all throughout the day, okay? So some people like to go do cardio for 1 hour, right? They go to the gym, they burn maybe like 250, 300 calories walking or running. Then they come home and they don't do much other activity. When you increase your NEAT, okay, your activity all day long, that means how much you're walking around the house, how much, washing clothes, putting clothes away, walking around the office, going up and down the stairs in the office building a couple times, parking really far away at Target and walking all the way to the entrance. Things like that are increasing your NEAT. You are burning calories all day long, not just an hour at the gym, okay? So those types of activities can contribute to weight loss. Again, most of what you look like in the way of weight does have to do with the food that you eat, but exercising can play a huge, I don't know where I was going there, it can play a huge role in weight loss. All around, okay? For me, it's a huge mental thing. It keeps me healthy. It helps keep my cholesterol low, and it helps keep me on track with wanting to be consistent, with staying disciplined, right? That is huge. Staying disciplined is huge. And if it wasn't for all the movement that I do throughout the day, I'm not sure I would be so disciplined. So, yeah, moving your body a lot throughout the day. Number 9, I stopped aiming for perfection. Believe it or not, I used to think, and I know a lot of y'all are gonna believe this because you might do this yourself. I used to think if I messed up one meal or one day, I totally screwed up all of my progress and I would spiral and self-sabotage myself, right? And like I said earlier in this video, I would just binge eat and say, oh, I'll start over on Monday. Well, I changed that way of thinking, right? Because one meal, one day is not going to screw up your progress. But if you're consistent with eating a meal you don't want to eat, a meal that's higher in calories, right? Or having a day that's higher in calories, or a day where you go eat a lot of oil and you're consistent doing that a lot, maybe you keep up with it like 3 times a week. I go out with my friends and I eat this stuff, then you will start to see the scale go up, right? But if you're not consistent with it, if you just have a one-off day, do not let that ruin your progress. You are doing good. We are human. We make mistakes. No one is perfect, okay? So one meal, one day is not gonna throw you off. And changing that mindset really changed the game for me because like I said, I used to self-sabotage myself and I would never get anywhere because I was always making little mistakes, which is fine. It's how you grow. You gotta make mistakes. And I was making little mistakes frequently and I kept telling myself, well, I can't handle this. I'm just gonna go ahead and ruin it all and start again, okay? So I became consistent with doing those things. So the mental and emotional part of weight loss is really, really tough. And you've got to just have grace with yourself and believe in yourself and know and trust that you are not going to mess up any progress that you've made from one meal or from one day, okay? Just get back up on that horse the next day, move forward, and you got it. And last but not least, I made it easy to stick with this way of eating. If you've been here at my channel for a while, you know that's what I love to talk about, how you can live and thrive eating a plant-based diet really easy. And if you're new here, that's what I like to talk about. I made this way of life really easy for me to stick with, and you have to figure out what's easy for you. I have a family that is not vegan. They don't eat plant-based most of the time. Here, they try to, right? I try to get them to, but I'm not in control of what they eat all the time. And so I had to find a way to make really simple meals that I could whip together in 5-10 minutes while I was making them something different. Even if it's a plant-based meal, they don't usually want to eat what I'm eating. So I had to make it really simple. I can't stress that enough. You need to look at your life and how busy you are, and if your family's vegan and if they're not, and figure out how can I make this as easy as possible for me. And I'll tell you right now, although it is fun to make a gourmet meal every now and then, usually it's really hard to stay consistent when you're making meals that take more than 20 minutes to make. This is my opinion. But things, recipes on Pinterest and like on Instagram that you find, these amazing, delicious meals. If you're trying to make that, okay, in a hurry and you're hungry, or you're trying to make that while you're making a meal for someone else, chances are you might really fall off the wagon because you don't have the patience or the time to do that. So, you know, quick, easy meals are where it's at. So those are the 10 habits that help me lose weight, and honestly, they're the same 10 that I go back to when I need them. They help me reset. Now, if you're trying to lose weight or even just feel better in life, don't feel like you have to implement all 10 of these at once. That can be pretty overwhelming, and remember, I am all about simple, easy, sustainable things. Pick 1, maybe 2 of these habits and try to implement them in a week. I really recommend 1 at a time, okay? So take 1 habit and try that for a week, get consistent with it, and then move on to another habit. Remember, this isn't a race, okay? This is a marathon. You're trying to change your life for the better, and really, I'm not gonna say you can't do it overnight, but that can be really hard and overwhelming. So it's a marathon, it's not a race. It's gonna be okay. Now, if you want a little more help and feel like you need a full meal plan, you want to see all the meals that I like to eat when I'm losing weight, follow all of the rules that I follow, I want you to check out the Healthy Vegan Reset that is 50% off right now. It's actually a 28-day meal plan of most of the meals that I love to eat that I have on repeat, and I include real life strategies just like these 10 tips we talked about today. So that is it for me today. I hope you enjoy this video. Make sure you comment below and let me know which habit you're gonna start today. I would really be curious to know. Maybe you do some of these habits, maybe some of them you never even thought about. Let me know down below. Make sure you like this video, and if this is your first time here, I really encourage you to hit that subscribe button and stick around, because like I said before, I love to share with you ways you can live and thrive eating a whole food plant-based diet really easy. Now, who doesn't want that? See y'all next week. Bye.